James Bond No Time to Die comes in a little under expectations, and Venom There Be Carnage has a big drop. First, I'm going to cover No Time to Die. It's not horrible, but it's, again, below expectations. So this is an article from Variety by Rebecca Rubin, and she says, No Time to Die, the latest installment in the James Bond franchise, debuted to $56 million from 4,407 theaters at the domestic box office, a result that falls somewhat short of expectations and signals that even one of the most storied brands in film history is still being forced to contend with the movie-going landscape that has been dramatically altered by the pandemic. I don't think it's much of a pandemic thing anymore, though. They keep making this excuse, and I think Venom proved that it's not that. I mean, like I said in the beginning, it had a decent drop, pretty big drop, but it made $90 million its opening weekend. And that is $10 million more than what the first one made opening weekend. So, I don't know that you can really use that excuse anymore. Internationally, this movie's doing great. So, I don't think it has much to do with that. Of course, there's a little bit, but nothing huge. It says, heading into the weekend, No Time to Die was projected to make $60 million to $70 million in its first 3 days of release. Though not a disaster, the film's final weekend total was expected to be higher because it received positive reviews and represented Daniel Craig's final outing as the stylish secret agent. In light of the ongoing pandemic, assessing the initial box office results for No Time to Die isn't as clear-cut. Again, with the pandemic. For some movies, especially during a public health crisis, an opening of $56 million would be cause for great jubilation. But No Time to Die is no ordinary film. It carries a massive $250 million production budget, to say nothing of the more than $100 million marketing spend. Add in the tens of millions it costs to delay No Time to Die, which is supposed to premiere in April of 2020, or was supposed to premiere in April of 2020, before the pandemic altered those plans. The box office experts estimate that conservatively, No Time to Die needs to gross at least $800 million at the global box office to make money in its theatrical window. For Bond, the franchise has numerous marketing partners with ancillary tie-ins with Rolex, Aston Martin, and more that could help cushion potential issues. I don't know if it's going to hit $800 million. Ticket sales at the international box office will still be a huge factor in terms of profitability for No Time to Die. So far, audiences have been turning out overseas, whereas it's already made an impressive $145 million. Globally, the film has collected $313 million. Directed by Kari Joji Fukunaga, True Detective, and co-starring Léa Seydoux, Rami Malek, and Ana de Armas, the 007 adventure has opened in most major markets except for China, set for October 29th, a popular territory for all things Bond. So, like I said, it's doing really well internationally. So, despite having a lowish box office, it's still going to do well. I don't know if it's going to make $800 million, but it's still going to do well. So it's kind of hard to say that it's the pandemic affecting it. I know Bond movies have older audiences, so maybe a little more than others. It would be affecting this possibly. But I just don't see it making a huge impact here. At the domestic box office, No Time to Die Start ranks below recent series entries. 2015's Spectre, $70 million, and 2012's franchise high Skyfall, $88 million. That's 14 behind Spectre. So that would have been the very high end of that estimate that it didn't meet. The slightly muted reasons for No Time to Die are attributable to several factors, including hesitation among older audiences to return to theaters, and its lengthy 2-hour and 45-minute runtime, which limited the number of screenings per day. It's also the first Hollywood tentpole with real competition at the box office. Sony's comic book sequel, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, opened last weekend and has continued to pull crowds, which may have cannibalized ticket sales for Bond. With No Time to Die claiming the number one spot in domestic box office charts, the Venom follow-up slid to second place with 32 million, a figure that's more than many pandemic-era releases have made in their entire theatrical run. In total, Venom Let There Be Carnage has generated mighty 141 million in North America, 185 million worldwide. That is 3 million below what Shang-Chi had made at this point in its release. But Shang-Chi had that Labor Day, and Venom has that Columbus Day today. So if you include that Columbus Day number, I don't know what it is yet, but if you included it, it would probably put Venom ahead of Shang-Chi. Or if you just took some off of Shang-Chi because of that Labor Day, it'd probably be ahead. But with the raw numbers, Shang-Chi is just 3 million ahead with that Labor Day. And Venom has yet to release in big markets internationally, I believe. Or they don't have the numbers out yet. But I don't think it's released in big markets yet. I don't know when that's supposed to happen. And it did really well. The first one did really well internationally. That's why it made 900 million. So when it has that release, that will be a big tell whether this is gonna end up doing well or not. It doesn't necessarily hinge on the domestic box office. I also have another article pulled up here for Venom, since that one doesn't really talk about the international side of things. It says Sony's Symbiote is riding a wave during its early overseas rollout. After scoring records in Russia last season, this weekend saw that the Tom Hardy starer, gave a big wet kiss to box office in Latin America with a regional pandemic record of 20 million. As noted above, that tops recent comps and is 15% below the original film. Capacity restrictions are still in effect. In total this season, Venom 2 devoured 24.8 million from 10,600 plus screens in 13 markets for an overseas total of 43.9 million, a global cume of 185.6 million. Russia is on track to add 5 million for the market cume of 23.9, narrowly edging out the debut of No Time to Die. Really? Wow. Mexico led Latin America with 10.5 million, followed by Brazil's 2.7 million. Argentina opened to 1 million, which is Sony's best bow ever there. Upcoming major releases include Korea, Italy, the UK, and Spain next week, followed by France and Germany the next week, Australia in November, Japan in December. So there's your release dates. This article talks a little more about No Time to Die. It says since Bond is a property that tends to skew toward older audiences, box office analysts haven't been discouraged by the turnout for No Time to Die. In general, older moviegoers don't make as much of an effort to watch a film on its opening weekend. Exit polls indicate that 64% of ticket buyers were male, and 57% were over the age of 35. It scored an A- cinema score, a positive sign for the movie's long-term prospects. One promising note for the future of moviegoing, 25% of ticket buyers returned to theaters for the first time in more than 18 months for Bond. How do you know? Where are you getting these numbers? I mean, that's good if those are true. I just don't know where you're getting those. I actually did for the first time for Venom the other day. And by the way, I thought it was fun to watch. I liked it a lot. It's not a good movie like the first one. It's not good, but it's fun. It's dumb fun. I really enjoyed it. And it's only 90 minutes long as well. It felt like it went by really fast, even for 90 minutes. According to the United States artist releasing, the company distributing No Time to Die in the US, Universal, is distributing the film in most international territories as well as Canada. The audience is broad, which all age groups and segments well represented, including a 35 plus crowd, who have been slow to return into the movies, says David A. Gross, who runs the movie consulting firm franchise Entertainment Research. If anything kept the film from overperforming this weekend, it is the younger groups who are less committed to the series. That's where we're going to stop reading in this article. The rest is on other movies. But we're focused on Bond and Venom here. So Bond without competition probably would have made around in between that Skyfall and Spectre numbers here, 70 to 88. Probably would have made closer to Spectre, if I had to guess, if it had no competition. But it did, and Venom had the 64% drop second weekend. But, again, it had competition as well. So it's not as bad as Black Widow's. It's still not good. But it's on pace for Shang-Chi numbers, at least. See if it keeps having big drops or not. It's going to have more competition as it goes, so it might. But that international box office probably do better than Shang-Chi, if I had to guess, considering how well it did, the first one did. Bond as well, that could have a big drop, but internationally it's still going strong. So it looks like the international market is going to carry these things pretty well. But again, we'll see. But what do you think about these numbers? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Comment, share. I have another channel called Thoughtful Outlaw Sports where I talk about basketball, baseball, football, anything else sports related I'm interested in. So check that out. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.